Okay, guys, this is Chen here, back at again with more Tekken coverage. This is attempt three because I don't even know where to begin, but I just wanted to get right to the action real quick. So first of all, I just want to apologize for my ignorance. In the last video, I did say that we were gonna cover Tekken 1 to Tekken 7, but because I never realized that um you need basically all the characters. And this is just by choice. I kind of feel like I would be like robbing or cheating in a way if I just covered like half of the roster. um yeah, so I just want to say that Tekken 7 is off limits for now. We can maybe do that in another future video. But there will still be a lot more Tekken to cover, and yeah, I'm excited. So I just wanted to get down to the ranking system. Last time I didn't necessarily have like a reason as to why certain endings were 10 out of 10 or 7 out of 10. So um in this video I will be ranking based on whether the plot, whether it drives the story, and where do the characters go from there. And if it's filler, it's never going to be a 10 out of 10 if it's filler. This is just a personal bias of mine. Um, yeah, because it's non-canon, so it's going to be a 9 at best if it's a really good filler ending. But anyways, guys, let's get down to it.
力こそ全てだ。俺は手に入れた圧倒的な力を。この大会が俺の波動を飾る最初の一歩となる。戦いの価値、俺は一人の女に出会う。恐れることなく近づいてきた風間純、不思議な女だった。せいや！勝ち進んだ俺の前に現れたのは生きていたとはな。まさかこの俺が貴様は俺の手で必ず。
That is a 10 out of 10, I must say, and that's only because it was a brief introduction into what the story was. Same argument from the last episode. It just gets right into the action. Obviously, a lot more takes place within that story, but they just got to the core of it, and it was done really well, especially the ending where it showcased the pregnant Chen. Um, yeah, so that's my reason. It definitely would go farther, into the next game, and the one after that, canon canon wise, So definitely, it holds up to the criteria, and it's, yeah, again, a 10 out of 10. What can I say about that? It's really random. It will look random, but there's meaning behind it. So I'm gonna give it a 9, uh, based off of the casual's point of view, whereas they would necessarily just find a screaming man with a fist come flying through the screen. showcasing the word Tekken, you know. Um, they would just find it really, really random. And obviously, there's better intros, but I mean, this was the only arcade intro that was like ever made for the game. Um, yeah, so I don't think it's necessarily fair for me to give it a nine because I mean, if you're a diehard like me, you'd understand why it was like that, and because it was in the '90s, you know, it had that '90s flair and style to it, so it should be a 10, but I'm gonna give it a nine, you know, just to be fair, to keep both points of views, you know, it's still pretty good, especially for its time. I mean, it's goofy looking, but I mean, yeah, there's context to it, so yeah. And I mean, but what take two? When I say context, I mean like there's a reason why he is obviously, you know, screaming or pulling his face, you know. But yeah. You see, this is an intro that I would watch over and over and over and over again. In fact, I'd watch it right now, you know, again. um, 10 out of 10, guys. No question about it. It gets right into the action. It introduces a bunch of brand new characters, and unlike the first intro of the first game, with given reason, did not feel random at all. You know, it showcased things like, say, King being drunk as hell and his former arch nemesis encouraging him to put back on the mask. You know, it's just stuff like that that they showcased in the intro, basically characters motivations for joining the second tournament, and I love that, you know. I love that it's showcased like that, and it's especially for 1995, it was animated beautifully, and coming off a year from the first game, this by far was the most beautiful Tekken game out there, you know. Um, of course, it would be surpassed, but I mean, it had the biggest roster. It had basically amazing gameplay at the time, and the models were just fucking gorgeous. So, enough said. 10 out of 10 for me. I don't get the context of this ending at all. If this is supposed to showcase or have Alex basically have his Rocky moment with the whole fist in the air type of deal, you know, and that's it's the same spoiler alert for fucking Roger, you know. I don't get it, so it's a 4 for me, 4 out of 10. It's I don't understand anything in regards to that intro at all, you know, unless it has to do with the fucking dinosaur mythology, mythology. What the fuck is that? Anyways, guys, 4 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Okay, I don't want to be extremely biased over here, but I would give that an 8 out of 10, but I'm gonna, like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm gonna keep both opinions, you know, like I'm gonna acknowledge both opinions. So I would say it's a 7. From the context, it kind of makes sense. You know, it's the whole good versus evil kind of deal with good overcoming evil. In a sense, within the Tekken universe, you know, with the evil being Kazuya and good also being Kazuya. Yeah, there's meaning to it. Basically, because Angel is basically Kazuya's good side, and the devil is basically Kazuya's bad side. I'm not gonna get into this because Tekken lore is just for a whole nother video, you know, because there's been retcons, and in this game, it wasn't like, you know, the devil gene did not necessarily exist. It more so had to do with the fact that Kazuya made a deal with the devil, and yeah, things weren't retconned yet. So it's I don't want to get into this conversation because it's gonna be too long. We're here to discuss endings. So I'd say it's a 7. Mainly because it's beautiful looking. Um, it's it's not necessarily story driven. It is story driven, but not to a point where it's like, you know, how do I put this? It's not necessarily story driven to a point where it's going to literally matter in future games. Um, and it doesn't because Angel is never seen again in a canon Tekken game. I'm not sure about Tekken 8. She could be. I heard rumors she is in the game, but the last the last game she ever was in was Tekken Tag 2, and the Tekken Tag series is not canon. So it's its own universe. And yeah, basically that's it. Like there's no mention ever of Kazuya's good side after this game. Like he's basically consumed. So I guess you say I guess you kind of say that the endings are, well, Angel's ending is non-canon and basically filler, but I mean it's interesting as well because you could consider it, especially back in 95, you could consider it, wait, could this be canon, you know? Yeah, like I don't necessarily know how to explain it. It's just one of those things, man. So it's gonna be a 7 for me. as much as I love this ending, as much as I love Devil Kazuya, it's aesthetically beautiful and pleasing to look at, I just love Devil Kazuya's model, you could say that it's sexy. But I gotta I gotta give this ending a three, man. It's not like Devil Jin's endings where he has mass like complete power and causes mass chaos and destruction. This ending, on the other hand, showcased none of that. Almost as you could say that Kazuya was basically throwing a temper tantrum and just flew away. Um, yeah, that's what I got out of it. So it's, as much as I love it, it's a three for me. That was a completely random ending right there. Um, I don't know, and we never see Bruce again, like for like 2, 3 games, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, for 2 games, we don't see Bruce again. In the canon games like Tekken 3 and Tekken 4, we don't see him. I'd still say his fifth ending is way better because it has a lot of heart and emotion to it. They said none of that, but I can see that they tried. That's what they were going for. So I'm gonna give it a five at least. Yeah. Something that I've noticed not too long ago, or like just like a while ago. I don't necessarily remember, but I've noticed that Taken 1 and 2, they take place in I think they take place in the 80s, and you can literally see that from a person coming from a country where its architecture and buildings look like it was ripped straight from the 70s and the 80s. You can literally see that Taken 1 and Taken 2, they take place in the 1980s. So yeah, and it's just so easy to see because like you grew up your whole life. I mean, especially in the early like to mid 2000s, you could see that. Um, I mean, we just started like I think a decade ago. We started like you know just updating our infrastructure and all of that stuff. At least to my knowledge, I think it was around the mid 2000s. I think we started, but I mean there was still like a whole lot of buildings where it's like, especially garages nowadays, you can still see that. If you look at a garage, you're like, oh, this garage looks like it was ripped straight from a 1980s movie. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'd give this ending a seven. It's not necessarily a favorite of mine, and you could say I'm being fucking biased again. But like like Bruce, we don't see Beck again until Tekken 5, and we don't get context as to what happened with this ending again until Taken Tag to a non-canon game, if I might add. So I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 7 or 7.5 at best, because knowing knowing that story, it's a pretty good ending. I'm not gonna lie. But in 1995 standards, like, and not even having Beck in the next game, it's like it's kind of a missed opportunity because you don't get to dive deeper into that story. So yeah, it's a 7.5 at best for me. Um, yeah. This is a 6, but mainly because I still don't understand what this is about. I can assume what it's about, but I could be wrong. And if I am wrong, then it's an 8. But what I my assumption was is that he was kind of diagnosed with this blood disease, which eventually resulted in his death 2 games later. Um, it basically contributed to his death, and I don't understand like the whole disease kind of deal. Um, but I do realize, and this is basically okay. Fuck, I'm gonna change it. This is a fucking 8 out of 10. I think I'm right about this. I'm genuinely 100%. I think I am right about this one. Just sounds like I'm spewing a bunch of total bullshit right here. But yeah, no. This basically it continues off, despite the fact that Armor King is not necessarily in the next game. He is in storyline though. He is basically King's the next King's mentor. So, and spoiler alert, but it basically continues off in the next King's ending. And I think in that ending he would explain his disease and all of that stuff. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Guys, I'm not sure how to rank this one because it's silly and goofy, but at the same time, this is a rivalry that has never once ended and basically contributed to the story, and eventually practically the main plot, you know. Um, Not necessarily acting as main characters either, but side characters to the main characters of the game. Um, but like King's story, basically, this one kind of it not kind of it has its own, deal, I'm not necessarily sure how the sibling rivalry started, but I do know that it's one of the most synonymous rivalries in the Tekken universe, basically. Like other than if you don't think of Kazuya and Jin, if you don't think of King's story, if you don't think of martial law or Paul, you're thinking of Nina and Anna. And that's just facts right there. So yeah, the first three endings may have been goofy and so to speak. I mean, it's always been goofy just thinking about it. But I mean, just the fact that the rivalry has like spun for years, and I mean, it's like it's still going on. It's still like um one of the stories from the Tekken universe. Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. But yeah, I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. If you don't, you can always correct me in the comments below. Yeah, I just from my opinion, like just growing up as a Tekken fan, that was one of the things, that if you didn't think of Kazuya or Jin, it was Nina and Anna. It's like it's just one of those things, that made that made Tekken, well, didn't help Taken, but I mean, it's like, it was there, I don't know how to explain. Anyways, moving on. As much as I love this ending, um, and I mean, there is a storyline to it. I know it's not canon, but I'm not sure how to rank this one either, because knowing it's not canon, it kind of makes it difficult for me. So I guess I'm going to give it a 7, mainly because um, the fact that it's not a canon ending, but it's still a pretty good ending. It showcases a what if, even though it's kind of an hysterical one, because I mean, it's battling his basically Kazuya battling and killing himself, because I don't think, what am I saying? I'm gonna go back to the law of certain things. This ending would not make sense today with the current law, because Kazuya made a deal with the devil in the first game, but it was then retconned, I think, in the third game, that he basically had the devil gene inside of him. I don't know. I don't get Tekken law, honestly. Um, it's a whole debate and a whole analysis kind of deal. And right now my head hurts just thinking about it. And Kazuya battling himself is just making it so hard for me to rank this like properly without being freaking biased, because I would just give this a solid 9 out of 10. Um, it's not even my favorite, but I still love it. Like it has that um that you fight your own battles kind of deal. But it has your greatest enemy involved as well, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how to rank this, so I think I'm just gonna go with a 7.9. Yeah, let's just do that just to make it easier, because this is not easy for me, and it involves me just, like you'd have to discuss Tekken lore in order for somebody to officially understand what the fuck is going on there, and basically overall just to get a proper overall ranking. But for now, I'm just gonna give it a 7.9 because it's just beyond. Uh, I honestly don't know. Yeah, I just want to move on. So 7.9, guys. I don't necessarily understand the concept behind that ending, and I'm gonna use Bruce again. We don't see John ever again, and unlike Bruce, we'd see again in Tekken 5, we don't canonically see John ever again until the newest iteration of the game, which is Tekken 8. So John is a big mystery to me, and I'm honestly gonna give this a fucking 5 because we know what happens to John after this, and I don't think she would fucking be happy after this. You know, she'd end up with a baby in her belly. I mean, like this is not John's canon ending. Come on, like this is just basically what if she won the tournament kind of deal. So no, this is a fucking 5, guys. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give that a 0, but I don't know. Fuck it. 5 out of 10. I don't get the context behind, other than the fact that okay, Jack is dead, you know, Jack 2 is dead. Kind of like a Terminator kind of deal, you know, like where at every ending of a game or movie or story, you know, that said model is like discontinued, you know. Um, I guess it's the same as the first one. It's just now they kind of added, like they've kind of made it a little bit more entertaining, you know. I guess it's appealing, but fuck it, let's just go with a 5 out of 10. You know, like I don't understand it, you know, from a story perspective, um unless Jack. This is where they introduce Gun Jack, you know, in the next game, but I don't know. I don't get it, you know. um, I don't even know if that's canon, to be honest. I'm overthinking this, yeah. However, I will say though that the ending does kind of come across as creepy, you know. I think somebody else in another video said that before. And I just, you know, was ever since then I was of the opinion that that ending was freaking creepy. I mean, like just what it's so random to see a laser being shot down to a robot and then the girl is all concerned with the little butterfly. I hope you guys get it, but yeah, I made a little edit myself here. Don't need to explain. 10 out of 10. I don't know where I'm gonna overthink this again, but I mean, I give it a six, because at the same time, it's like it's interesting, but then again, where, like, where's the story? Like Kazuya's ending, for example, not Kazuya, Hayachi's ending, for example, which is the canon ending. Spoiler alert to non Tekken hardcores or people who are not familiar with the Tekken games. Um, which is really my bad. But yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna give it a six because I mean it's interesting, but like what? It's also kind of goofy as well. You got gun noobs like I don't mean to make a mockery out of sumo wrestlers or the sumo tradition. If I do apologize. I really love the whole sumo the whole sumo sport, even though I would just fucking die, because those guys are huge. Like respect. Like I'm a pro wrestling guy, and there was a wrestler by the name of Yokozuna, rest in peace, by the way, who I think he was a sumo wrestler at one point, if I'm not mistaken. I do apologize. Um, yeah, I think it was for a short period before he was ever signed to the WWF, but I could be wrong, you know. But yeah, no, those guys they they tend to eat a lot in order to basically, from my knowledge, they tend to eat a lot so that they can like, do well in the matches and stuff like that. I'm not entirely like sure and stuff. I'm not even sure if I'm wording it correctly, but yeah, no, Ganryu is a great character, funny character if I might add. But like this ending was just bland, Um, it was just like a demonstration. It's like martial laws one, the first one, but it's just a little bit more boring, Like it's not as wild as martial laws one was in the first one, But anyways, yeah, 6 out of 10. Uh, like Taken to introducing, well, not really. I forgot Lee Charlin was actually in the first one, but let's just say Taken 2 was the official introduction to Lee Charlin because I mean he's not in the arcade versions of Tekken 1. He's mainly a PlayStation character through and through. Um, like the introduction, like Tekken 2 introduced Lee Charlin, I'd say that it also started the whole excellent kind of, you know. That was bad. But yeah, it started that whole trend where it's like, in every Lee Shaolin ending, it always ends up with his enemies like on the list where he's like he captures his enemies and it's like I got you now and I'm the winner, kind of deal, like the world is mine for the taking. you know To quote Lee Shaolin in Combat Ending in Tekken 4, that guy, like, honestly, he's almost like a Bond villain. He's like James Bond, but if he was evil, like a comedic villain kind of deal. He's not a bad guy anymore, like he's practically turned face in Tekken 4, I think. I don't know. I think it's Tekken 4 or 5. Mainly Tekken 5, but now he's just a comedic oaf. Like he's basically a cameo, like in the Tekken 3D movie. He was basically the Xiaoyu's teacher for some reason, which is like, okay, that's random story wise, but then again, Taken Blood Vengeance is not canon, so okay. And Ganryu is the gym teacher. Like what? Like what are they doing there? Like I question a lot of stuff in that movie. I honestly do. Like I really wonder. We didn't need that, like instead, like you could have given us like maybe a Tekken 1 um like 3D movie, that's like story accurate, but oh well. Um oh yeah, 10 out of 10, guys. I may be a little biased. I think I'm way too biased now in this review so far, but I mean, I don't know. I'm new to this, so I guess like I think I should just try to be a little non-biased. It's not gonna be perfect, but yeah, I liked it. I assume, like, you know what? I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Because I mean, I don't think it's that good. Um, like I don't know. Because it doesn't go anywhere at the end of the day. It's just like, what if. It's basically, it's like literally like what if, like, because and it just gets more chaotic as the games progress, so I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah. As much as I love Law's endings, like Lee's before, I'm also gonna try and again, I'm gonna try and be non-biased here. So, I just need a solver now. I don't think you guys will understand that reference, but I'm doing it again. I'm, I'm, I don't know what you call it, but you know when people like tend to explain things by like showcasing their like showcasing hand gestures, that's what I was doing now. So I'm basically doing a Terry Solver because if you guys watch Cobra Kai, you'll notice that the guy tends to gestorize. I'm doing it again. Oh my word. Oh goodness gracious me. I'm losing the plot here, guys. Yeah, he tends to do that. Yeah. Okay, so back to law for a second. Uh, fuck. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna just give it a 7 out of 10 because I mean it doesn't go anywhere. It's comedic. Okay, fuck it. Let's do 8 out of 10 because I mean it's comedic and I mean it gave us this. Dude, that's a fucking three. I mean, as much as I love Kunimitsu, and I mean, the same argument goes for the number of Tekken characters that were introduced in this game. Where do they go from here? You know, because half of the roster that was introduced in this game again is practically gone in the next one. So, I don't know, 3 out of 10, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to be biased here, but I mean, in terms of story, there's nothing. I could give it a zero, but I mean, he's cutting a rock. So, I mean, could be a two. Just fuck it. Yeah, no, no, it's a three. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I give it a four. Because I mean, it's like, it's okay, I guess. 4 or 5, but I mean, I'm trying to not be biased here. Again, I don't want to have to repeat myself. So, yeah, fuck it. Let's go with a three. A nice tribute, given that it's Paul's rival in the games. Tribute to Paul's ending in the first Tekken game. Again, with stories concerned, doesn't necessarily go anywhere. It's just fucking Kuma training, and I don't think any of Kuma's endings really go anywhere, to be honest. It's either like something like this or it's just comedic in itself. I think I'm just gonna give it a five. Yeah. And after this ending, King died from constipation. The body jokes is not gonna stop there. Oh fuck it. I would give that a 10 out of 10. But I mean, in terms of story, we'll give it a 9 because I mean I think that ending was canon as well. Um yeah, and it's goofy, so fuck it. No, let's just go with 10 out of 10. Come on, it's goofy as hell, and I mean it's canon and it's a sad ending because I mean he lost the tournament. Obviously, he looks down on his luck, and it helps with the music as well. The music is kind of sorrowful in a way, but then again, I think it's bittersweet. I don't know. Um, what would bittersweet mean? It's embarrassing. I know. But anyways, yeah, no, 10 out of 10, guys. Yeah, we never see this king again, which makes it all the more sad, to be honest. I mean, he lost and he basically dies a hero in the next game. So I mean, 10 out of 10, guys. Excuse me, my bad. 5 out of 10. I'm conflicted there. I don't know, unless that was like a what if scenario as to why or how he did not win the tournament. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. So yeah, I'm just gonna give it a 7. 7 out of 10. What a great ending. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10 only because I don't want to just randomly give everything 10 out of 10s, you know. Okay, so I personally give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, the music, I mean, the fact that the ending is like a part of the Tekken lore, you know, and it showcases something different, you know, something that we barely see within the two siblings, you know, just, you know, not today kind of thing, you know. Yeah, so 9 out of 10. Yeah, like I said before, Michelle's just one of those characters that you like never see again, you know, unlike the tag games. We still haven't seen her in a canon Tekken game since, you know. Um, but I mean, unlike a first ending, which was just looked really random, I did not understand the point of that at all, unless there was something that I was missing. I might just dive into that, but I do know, like, and the reason why I'm not giving it such a low score is because that amulet, that specific amulet, it's tied to the next game. And I think it's the reason why Ogre kind of exists. If I'm not mistaken, Ogre's the next character. If you guys don't know, don't mean to treat you guys like dummies, but I assume that the people that are watching this is like hardcore Tekken fans like me. Not hardcore in a sense that I'm like at gaming conventions, you know, um, not necessarily button mashing, but knowing the combos and whatnot. I'm not that kind of hardcore gamer, you know. I'm a casual, but I mean, in terms of the lore, I'm a fucking hardcore man. Um, but I'm gonna give this one and you see, this is where I'm like tied, you know. I'm gonna give it an I'm gonna give it a 9, mainly because it's such an important part. You know, the amulet plays an important part. I think Heihachi is like obsessed with that amulet, and it's the reason why we don't see Michelle in the next game, and the reason why her daughter Julia is basically her replacement. I'm gonna do a little bit of a questionnaire from a post that I made a while ago. I don't remember when. It wasn't that too long ago. Um so yeah, no, let's get started. So how this will work is that I will give you a shout out, and yeah, I will basically be doing that. Normally, if you're gonna be spamming like nonsensical stuff, I'm not gonna like answer that. Um, Mainly because I just don't want to look stupid, you know. Yeah, like it's nothing against you. It's just yeah, like I wouldn't even know what to say, you know. So if you're gonna like type out a what with a question mark, I'm just gonna be like, okay. um yeah, no, maybe I'll answer it just like just for humorous purposes, but I mean like yeah, I don't want to come across as like a douchebag either, you know. So yeah, man, yeah, let's get started. Also, not to steer away from the ending, I give it a because it's Lei Wulong, and that was actually kind of smart. I'm actually gonna give it a 7.5, because I mean it doesn't necessarily go anywhere. It's just him doing his usual cop routine. It's not even funny, so but it is technically smart, because I mean, yeah. Um, I guess it's funny in that kind of sense, if that makes any sense. Because he's like shooting bullets, and I mean it's like the end, because I mean it's his ending. So if anybody's actually getting what I'm saying, so I'm gonna give that a 7.5. Okay, so I don't necessarily remember what was posted as answers. I'm looking at it now, and yeah, like that's why I'm like saying I never really remembered. So there's not a lot of spam here. Yeah, so I'm going to start off with question one of three answers. Oh, what the fuck am I saying? I'm going to start off with question number one of three questions. Um, Shout out to I Ate Your Sandwich. He asks, Arcane versus Into the Spider Verse. Which animation style motivates you more as an artist to make your own story? Honestly, I'd say I haven't watched Arcane yet, so as of this recording, I haven't watched it yet. It's in my downloads. I do intend to watch it. Um, just before season three ever comes out. If there's ever gonna be a season three, I don't know. Um, hmm. I do like the art style for Arcane, but you could easily compare it to Spider Verses in terms of like the outline, the black outlines on each character. Just from what I've seen, I'd say Spider Verse so far, mainly because like just okay, storytelling out of the question. I'd possibly say it's because of just Miles overall, like his story, it like it gives me like inspiration to kind of like just write more bizarre stories in a way, um incorporating such um animation, and not animation but like exaggeratedness, because that's what Spider Verse is at the end of the day. Like if you look at Miles swinging, or like just the chaotic movements of it all, or like Kingpin's exaggerated physique, it's yeah, I gave the answer away, but I mean like it's like over and beyond, to put it in other words. So I'd say Spider Verse. Second question by I Ate Your Sandwich. Chowder versus Flapjack. Again, uh, I grew up with both series, but I didn't have DSTV back in the day. And for those of you who are living in the United States, DSTV was kind of like it is. It's still a thing here in South Africa where, like, you could have like if you got it, you would watch like your Cartoon Networks, your MTVs, your Disney channels, Disney XDs, TNT, just stuff like that, So it's basically our cable. Um, I don't know what the fuck Cinemax is. Isn't that like a porn thing? I don't know. Just whoever's watching from the United States, just let me know what the fuck Cinemax is. I heard a Cinemax reference on Family Guy, and I just want to know what it is. I know it's like a cable kind of thing, but yeah, just let me know what that is. But back to the question, Chowder versus Slapjack. I don't know. Um, I don't know what you mean in terms of versus, like if it's like a battle royale kind of deal, or is it like a show kind of deal? Like which show is actually better? probably say Flapjack's a lot more better because Chowder I just kind of find annoying now. Like just now looking back and just if I ever have to revisit like Chowder, I'm just gonna be fucking annoyed. Um, like I'm gonna be more like invested into Flapjack stories, and it's mainly because like the guys that worked on Adventure Time, Gravity Falls, and regular show, and I think Gumball as well, both contributed to that show. So I think it's got to do with that a lot more. But I mean, yeah, and Flapjack is also like dark. It's heavily dark. So yeah, I guess I just love to like go in depth with darker things and darker stories. So Flapjack is obviously a win for me. Third question. When are you doing a Mortal Kombat video like the old ones? Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Do you mean like say Mortal Kombat X or Mortal Kombat 11, considering those are like old games now? Like they're not very old, but Mortal Kombat 11 is not the newest one anymore. Um, I will be doing it soon. I can try. I can even try and like do like an old I could try and play Mortal Kombat, like the older Mortal Kombat games. I don't think I'm ever gonna like get past, say, Goro, Shang Tsung, or depending on which game you're playing, Goro, Shang Tsung, or Shao Kahn for that matter, because fucking face it, I suck at Mortal Kombat games. And it's a funny story actually. So when I first played Mortal Kombat 2 back in the arcades, I think I was about like I was reaching 15 or I think I was reaching 14 or I think I was already 14. So I was like in my Mortal Kombat phase at that time. And I was at like the mall, like the local arcade mall. Um or the mall's local arcade. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. um so I was there and I happened to find Mortal Kombat 2. I could see like the cabinet was the Raiden like on the side with him reaching out for lightning stuff like that. You know the deal. So I wait. Just hold on a second. Okay, never mind. Oh, sorry. I thought the thing wasn't working. Okay. So I saw Raiden, and yeah, no, I obviously saw the Mortal Kombat 2 logo. So I mean, I was curious enough to like just try it and see it for myself, thinking it was going to be easy like Tekken. Um, because I mean, like I got so invested into Mortal Kombat, especially like the older ones through the videos that where they showcased like older gameplay footage from the Mortal Kombat Unchained bonus section. For those of you who don't know, Mortal Kombat Unchained is basically Mortal Kombat Deception but on PSP. Okay, so I tried it and I got my ass beat by Baraka. I could not move past level one or stage one. I could not move past. I couldn't win the fucking round. So that's how bad I was. And eventually years later, I actually I started emulating and shit, and I actually I would play Mortal Kombat um like Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, UMK3, just stuff like that. And yeah, no, like I am very good with Sub-Zero. Scorpion a little bit, Liu Kang, Kung Lao also, but yeah, I made it to Motaro. I think I beat him, and then I like just exited like because this is on the main app that's on your phone. So I I left it and I didn't save it because you can't necessarily save on that app. And yeah, like I just I had to start from scratch, and I didn't want to because it's such a chore to just play, and it's not necessarily fun if you're just like spamming the same move all over again, especially if you're playing Mortal Kombat 3 or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. because it's kind of hard to do combos. You have to memorize certain things. This is back in the day, all right? So Mortal Kombat never used to give away combos or fatality inputs. Like now they do that, but like since like from Mortal Kombat 1 till Mortal Kombat versus DC, I think they never did that. Yeah, so that's about it. I could try and like, do something like in terms of like the old Mortal Kombat games. Maybe like if I get the PlayStation 2 up and running and or can you get gameplay footage of your PSP? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I could like, if I get like a HD capture card or something like that, I could like do Mortal Kombat 9 playthroughs, because I mean, I love Mortal Kombat 9. Yeah, it's like I think it's my favorite Mortal Kombat game. It's between that and Deception. Like I can never decide which one I like the most. And then there's Mortal Kombat 11. So I really like Mortal Kombat 11 as well. Yeah, so it's between those three games. All right. So yeah, but I mean my final verdict is like you'll definitely see Mortal Kombat stuff in the future. I don't necessarily know when because I kind of want to make room for games like Spider-Man, Lego Star Wars, and eventually WWE 2K24. So yeah, um, thanks. All right, so last question, 2308 underscore monkey. Hi. Well, hello yourself. All right, that about wraps things up. um, all right, so let's move on to the next ending. Okay, I like it for what it is. So I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, mainly because I don't know where Yoshimitsu necessarily goes from here. You can correct me in the comments and say if it's actually like a canon ending or whatnot. I really don't know. Um, so I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10 because I mean I really loved it. It's action packed. Even though it's dated. But yeah, it's a really cool ending. So yeah. Okay, that's a 10 out of 10, and mainly because this was the ending that showcased, well, at least to my knowledge, or the first mentioning of Jinpachi Mishima, who would become a later boss in the future Tekken game known as Tekken 5. Yeah, so I'm gonna, yeah, what the, excuse me, guys, I'm having a chin moment right here where I'm just, saying a bunch of random nonsense at the same time. All right, so that's 10 out of 10, guys. Mainly because it's emotional. It's not the last time you'll ever hear about something like this. And I mean, Wang only comes back in Tekken 5. So the story kind of continues like he's not his budding friendship, but like his close friendship with um Junpachi Mishima. It's I think it's further explored in Tekken 5. So yeah, that's my reason for giving it a 10 out of 10. So this was a rocky moment. Nothing but a rocky moment. Nah. This ending doesn't do it for me. It's basically a what if scenario, as you could see at the beginning. Roger won, so that's what he would have been doing if he'd actually won. Um, I think, okay, I could be wrong, and this could just be my opinion, but the fact that Roger wasn't necessarily a, a naturally born kangaroo, I think this ending showcases his freedom after he won. So it's kind of good, but then again, it's a what if scenario, and it doesn't necessarily go anywhere. Because I mean, yeah. So I'm just gonna give it a seven. Like, no, I'm gonna give it a six. Mainly because it's not naturally that, and Roger actually disappears like many other characters again. I said this a lot in the entire video, but I mean, yeah. Yeah, I don't think this Roger is ever like playable again because Roger Jr. is like the character to go for now. But yeah, 6 out of 6.5. All right, so that actually wraps everything up. Boy, this video actually took longer than I expected. A lot of endings to cover. And I mean, obviously, I rambled a whole lot. I mean, as I usually do. But yeah, no, guys, thanks for just sticking around. Sticking around. What am I, snake? Thanks for sticking around. We're not done with the Tekken franchise of just, reviewing endings and intros. So join me for part three as we will be taking a look at Tekken 3 next time. So stay tuned for that one and just don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I really do appreciate everything, the growth that this channel has received in the in the last months. Yeah, I just wanted to showcase my love and support, and like I do really appreciate you guys. So yeah, just stick around and see what happens. Yeah, peace. I'm out.